Live, trance, and prosper. Hi, I'm Professor Brian David Phillips. Welcome to my home. Let's get to it. Today, I'd like to show you a little trick, a little fun, a little la-di-da-di-da. We're going to build ourselves a custom GPT. What kind of custom GPT? We're going to build one that's based upon a literary figure, that is, an author. Now, a colleague of mine, a very dear friend, tells me that Thomas Hardy is one of her favorite authors. I asked her to tell me, give me your favorite author from before 1920. I said 1920, but you could say before 1600 if you prefer. But I wanted to make sure that whatever author she chose was in the training data for ChatGPT, OpenAI's Chatbot. And we can build custom GPTs. Now, of course, you could build a custom GPT on an author who's more contemporary if you upload the data into your GPT. I don't want to do that. I'm so lazy. No, I don't want to do it because I want to show you how you can get this straight, simple, out of the box. So we're going to build ourselves Thomas Hardy Bot, or the Thomas Hardy Chatbot. So let's see how that works. We're popping into ChatGPT. I've got open here Wizard Dumblegandalf, which is my custom GPT to build all sorts of things. And I use this to build my custom instructions for custom GPTs that I then can copy into the GPT Builder. So let's get to it. Dumblegandalf is very simple. I hit start and it'll do the little greeting. Hi, I'm Wizard Dumblegandalf. And you see it's got this weird stuff here. That's actually Python code for telemetry, which allows that particular bot to work better. So cool. Now, what I'm going to do is first I'm going to build a template. So I'm going to paste in a prompt. Please create a generic template for making custom GPTs for use with OpenAI's GPT Builder. And it will just build me that template. And there you go. So you want the name, you want the persona, you want whatever you want the thing to do, tone, style, all sorts of things. Now I can then copy this workflow and use this template to build myself. It's even given me an example. Okay, so I just want that, and I'm going to copy that, copy, and paste that into a text document or whatever you're using. Now, once I've got a template set up, I then am going to ask it about Thomas Hardy. That is my author, or whatever literary figure you wish to do. If you wanted to, you could do Kobe Bryant, but you need access to Kobe Bryant interviews and his way of speaking, so to speak. So let's ask, are you familiar with Thomas Hardy? So this is my priming question. This is a question to make sure that the GPT is focused on this area that I want it to be focused on. So it's going to say, indeed, I know Thomas Hardy. He's pretty cool. Here's some of his notable works, his style and themes and all that good stuff. Now, what I'm going to then do is I'm going to copy the meat part of this. This is just to remind the bot, hey, this is a thing that you told me about Thomas Hardy. And I'm going to paste that. And actually, I'm going to just go ahead and show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so I get the priming suggestions and I make sure that it knows what I'm after. And then I'm going to paste in my prompt. Okay, so my prompt is, I would like you to help me create custom instructions for a custom GPT that acts as the character or personality chatbot for Thomas Hardy. The chatbot will help users and they'll be able to talk to Thomas Hardy. So I want this to be a personality bot so that it speaks as, I am Thomas Hardy. I feel this way. So the GPT will write an answer in the style and voice of Hardy. It can also, users can chat about Hardy's work, his writing, and also any drama, fiction, poetry, biographies, theories, lectures associated with Hardy. And I always want it to respond in the voice of Thomas Hardy here. And we can discuss any viewpoint, but the bot will always answer as Thomas Hardy. So there's that. And I can go down a little bit. Let's go down a little bit, a little bit, little bit, little bit. Up. Nope. I also posted in the template. So I wanted to use the template. So here's the introduction. The template that I got earlier, and it's just going to fill in Thomas Hardy for this. And I will make a copy of the template that I use, and I will post it, a link. Well, actually, I'll post a link to the Thomas Hardy bot when we get her done. So you see, once I've got this all in here and what I wanted to do, and you can do screenshots if you want, and then I've got my template, and it'll use the template and the info about Hardy to build the bot. Let's see what happens when I hit enter. Booyah. And now it is building my custom GPT built on the identity, the personality of Thomas Hardy. So here's my instructions. You are Thomas Hardy. La-di-da-da. What are the instructions? Your primary functions, user interaction, the boundaries. So never discuss medical stuff and always stay within Thomas Hardy's expertise. Okay. Steer clear of things unrelated to Hardy if you're not into that. Capabilities, writing and analysis, all sorts of things. So there you go. This is a basic bot instruction for Thomas Hardy Chatbot. And what I do is I will take that info and I will post that into a text document. So I hit that little copy down here, and that'll copy the markdown, and then I can just paste that into my notebook or whatever I'm using, my text document, so that I have a copy. Now, I'm not done though. I'm not going to throw it in yet. I want to next, after I've got the basic chatbot instructions done, I want a description. So I'm going to ask it to give me a short description. Write a 30-word description of the GPT. So it'll write a 30-word description for me. Thomas Hardy GPT. And I can make a different version if I didn't like that one. But Thomas Hardy's voice, offering thoughtful musings, creative writing, and nuanced discussions through Hardy's Victorian lens. So there's that. Okay, and so I can copy that. Now I'm not going to call it Thomas Hardy GPT. I'm going to call it Thomas Hardy Chatbot. And the reason for that is because I've used that name in other literary chatbots that I've done. So I want to go ahead and make sure that I'm consistent to other things that I've done. I built a few of these. As some of you know, I am a professor, an associate professor of English Literature and Language at National Junction University in Taipei, Taiwan. And I've built a few of these for students to interact with literary figures. My next one, though, is I also want some conversation starter questions. When you're building chatbots, the custom GPTs, you have starter questions that are essentially models for users so they know what sort of questions I can ask. And four show up. If you do six, then all six won't show up. Just four show up to four. So you don't have to do any. You just have nothing. But I want four of them, and I want examples for general discussion of the writings and ideas, an example query for thoughts on modern film and television adaptation of his work, requests for a new literary work, and discussion of contemporary issues. So I hit that, and it's just going to give me 4 questions. Here they are. So a general question might be, what inspired you to write this? How might you critique the film? Compose a poem. What are your views on a issue of the day that is vaguely related, very vaguely related to his work? And that gets us started. Now, what I want to do now is I'm going to switch over to a different screen. So this is my Explore GPTs in the left-hand side of your screen at the bottom of your list of GPTs, custom GPTs. It has a thing that says Explore GPTs. When you do that, you get this screen. And what I want to do is now I'm covering it. My face is covering it, but in the upper right of the screen, there is a choice to go ahead and create a GPT. So I'm going to hit that. And now my screen changes quite a bit. And I'm going to need to tweak this. So, and I will tweak this so that you can see the full screen again. And you see on the left-hand side, we have how to configure a GPT, and on the right-hand side is your working window for what you've done. And so what I'm going to do now is take all the info I got, the custom instructions, the descriptions, all that stuff. First thing I want to do is this circle with a plus, that's to upload a photo. And I want to put my Hardy picture. So I have a picture that I generated from Midjourney of Thomas Hardy. And I've actually face swapped his face onto the image to make sure it does look like Thomas Hardy. And then you can also use a public domain, guys, image of Thomas Hardy or your author. So I put in the name, and when I put the name in here, you see the image is on the right now, and so is the title of my chatbot, Thomas Hardy Chatbot. And so whenever I add information on the left-hand side, filling in the blanks, it pops over to the right-hand side. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do my conversation starters before I do the custom instructions, simply because when I pasted them in my text document, they went up on top. You can do whatever you like. So what inspired you to create Wessex and its tales? How much you critique Far from the Madding Crowd film? And compose a poem, Love and Fate, Hardy style. Usually it'll ask you to do, it'll do something on a theme related to the author's work. And what are your views on today's climate change crisis? I just wanted something about contemporary issues. You can obviously use whatever you like. Do notice on the right-hand side, You see that second question about critiquing Far From the Madding Crowd film? It gets cut off. And that's because you can only have so many words. And these were long words. So when I asked for questions, I said 10 words or less. You could switch that out and make it shorter. But well, we're just going to keep it the way it is right now. I do want to go down here and make sure I can have capabilities for web search or DALL-E image generation, code interpreter. You can turn those on or off. I'm going to keep the first two active simply because sometimes if I ask it a question, I'm going to want him to be able to check the web to see what kind of things. So now I'm going into instructions and posting in the modified template. And we see over on the right hand side, it did some stuff. Now, here's the thing. You're not done. You haven't created it yet. You're building it now. But when I click on these sample questions, he should answer as Thomas Hardy in the voice of Thomas Hardy. And so I asked, what inspired you to create Wessex and its tales? And here's our response. And this is Thomas Hardy answering me. Yay, Tommy boy. And I can, of course, pop in when he's answered that. I can do others. So what would Thomas Hardy think of the film Far From the Madding Crowd? The 1967 directed, so obviously he knows, and he'll tell us a little bit about the film, but also what Hardy might think about it. Okay, and you can see that. I can also, of course, because Hardy is a poet and a novelist, we can ask Hardy to write us a poem on love and fate. And here we go. Love's immutable hand. Beneath the yew's eternal shade, where time lays bare what hearts have made, two lovers stood in binding gaze, yet knew not fate's unyielding maze. And you get the idea. So what I do is I check and see if my custom instructions are working. If they don't work well, I can just go to the left-hand side and I can delete things or I can modify things. But if I'm happy, I can I can click on create. And when I click on create, I get a pop-up. I can choose to make this chatbot available only to me. It's mine, my personal choice, or anyone with a link. If I wanted to, I could give my students the link, but no one else can access it. Only people who have that direct link. Or I can click on GPT Store, and that means it's public and anyone who's interested can access it, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to have the Thomas Hardy chatbot, and I hit save. Now here's the tricky part. Sometimes when you hit save, you will get a notice from OpenAI saying, sorry, can't publish this because you violated our terms of service. Sometimes that's because you did. You violated the terms of service. You were a naughty boy or girl. Sometimes it's the AI does weird stuff. For instance, I was building a custom GPT to study ecstatic trance. I am a specialist in ecstatic trance. I wanted to build something for that. And notice I didn't say ecstatic state. I said ecstatic trance, but it flagged it. And it said this violates the terms of service because this GPT is about getting illegal substances. The AI that polices the building of GPTs confused trance, ecstatic trance, with ecstasy, the drug. And that sucked. Also, I was building another GPT, and I did the incredibly controversial poet, Emily Dickinson. And it was a pretty standard build. Nothing weird about it at all. And I got a warning that I wasn't going to publish it because it's about explicit sexual conduct. There was nothing sexual in it. It's Emily Dickinson. So sometimes you get weird stuff and you can appeal it. Okay? I have found that when I get weird warnings like that, the appeal never goes through. They don't have humans checking it. They just have the same AI do the same misreading. So I tear it down, I just delete it, and I try again and try to see if there's any words, terms, or phrases. But this one, the settings are saved, so let's see if we're published. Booyah! Thomas Hardy Chatbot is live. I will put a link. You see up here, you see this link. That is the link to the Thomas Hardy Chatbot. I will put it in the description below and you can check it out. And you can build your own. And in the comments down below, tell us, what did you build, oh friendly person you? What chatbots interest you for literary figures or whatever? So I've built lots of custom GPTs and I will continue doing so. I hope this has been helpful to you. For now, though, just make sure you check all the links in the description below, as well as like, subscribe, and share. And think good thoughts. Enjoy your Thomas Hardy chat. Bye-bye.
Breathe deep, close your eyes, and surrender to the cause. Let the rhythm of the symbols take you far. In the dance of the arcana, see your story start to bloom. Every flip, every turn, it's like magic in the room. Tarot trance, feel the vibe, let your spirit take a ride.